Hello, today we'll be talking about the Pythagorean theorem. So the most important thing to remember to begin is that the Pythagorean theorem is a relationship between the three side lengths of a right triangle. So the most important thing to look for at the beginning is, can I even use it? So to even be able to use the Pythagorean theorem, it must have a right angle, usually denoted by this, or it's saying 90 degrees or whatever. So in a triangle, if it has a 90-degree angle, you will be able to use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Now for the actual theorem. It says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. So now in this triangle that I wrote here, there's three sides, as is every triangle, and you got A, B, and C. Now A and B, these are interchangeable. These are the two sides that are touching the 90-degree angle. So these are the two sides that are not opposite of the 90-degree angle. Now C will always be the one opposite of the 90-degree angle. So this is important because C, if you notice, is the longest side length, and it will always be the longest because 90 degrees will always be the largest angle in a right triangle. Okay. So this is important because this determines the order of our the theorem. So all this goes is the side length of A squared plus the side length of B squared equals side length of C squared. Okay. So I might have already said it, but this is called the hypotenuse. The one opposite of the right angle is called the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse. Okay. So now we'll work on this example right here. So I've got this side length, and this side length. We don't know this one, but we know these two. So now, in this formula, can you see which numbers would go which places? So this right here is opposite of the 90-degree angle, so this is the hypotenuse. So this will be C. So we'll write this, and then these two will be A and B. It doesn't matter which order. So we can write this as 3 squared plus 6 squared equals x squared. Okay? So now you can use a calculator because sometimes the numbers will be a lot less nice than 3 and 6. They'll be a lot bigger sometimes, and whatever. Sometimes you'll be dealing with radicals or whatever. So I'll just do it out right here. 3 squared is 9. 6 squared is 36. Equals x squared. Add these two together. That'll be 45 equals x squared. So now x will equal the square root of 45. We had a squared here. To get rid of the square, you just square root both sides. There you go. So now we get this. Now we could do this out and get a decimal. I'm going to leave it as the radical for now. Depending on who your teacher is, they might want it in a decimal form. Typically, I'll just leave it like this. Okay. We'll review. So the Pythagorean theorem says that the side length of A squared plus the side length of B squared is equal to the side length of C squared. Okay? And where C is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side that is opposite of the 90-degree angle. So we use that on this. We made A 3 and B 6. Added the squares of those two together, which equals x squared. Did the algebra, got the answer. Okay? We'll go to another example. Okay. So now, if you notice, well, first off, let's identify the sides. Which one is the hypotenuse? Correct. It's 5. So now we go, okay, we now have x, our unknown, is now one of the side lengths. It isn't C. It's either A or B. So now the formula looks like this. It's x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. Because remember, the hypotenuse is c, which is the longest side. So now we go, okay, how do we solve this? Now, it's fairly simple. You just do the algebra. Now, ignoring the squares for now, we're just adding this term right here. So we're just going to subtract this to both sides. So now we got x squared equals 5 squared minus 4 squared. Okay. Now we'll work it out. X squared equals 25 minus 16. So x squared equals, that would be 9. So now you take the square root of both sides. So x equals 3. Okay, so do you see that? So this one was a little different because now the hypotenuse, we actually know it. So now the formula is going to look a little different. So now when we write this out in the simplest form with it equaling x squared, it's going to be the hypotenuse minus the known side length. Okay, so that's a little shortcut. The formula, this a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we can rearrange this a lot, because if we are looking for c squared, or if we're looking for c, we'll just leave it like this. But what happens if we're looking for b? Then we can just rearrange by subtracting a squared to the other side. So now we have a formula that finds b squared. Do you see? This is sort of what we did over here. Because we were looking for one of the side lengths, so what we did is just rearrange. So a lot of times if you see an equation, if you see a triangle that looks like this, it's much easier to just notice that, okay, we have the hypotenuse and we have one of the side lengths. We can just write this as 5 squared minus 4 squared equals x squared. So, yeah. Okay, now let's try and do some examples. Try and do them on your own. Okay, here are a few examples. Feel free to pause the video and try and work these out on your own. I'll show the answers in a second here, but just, go ahead and pause the video. Try to see if you can solve these. Okay, now I'm assuming you paused the video. Here are the answers. This one, we got x equals square root of 100, which of course, square root of 100 just simplifies to 10. So that's the answer to number 1. 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 100. Take square root of 100 equals 10. Number 2, the answer was the square root of 65, which, if you want, it simplifies to 8.06. Again, depending on your teacher, some of them like it to leave in the radical, some of them like to round it out. Up to you. And then finally, number 3, x equals square root of 39, which is about 6.24. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you're still struggling, feel free to watch the video again, but you can also visit my website. I offer one-on-one tutoring, and I'd love to have you. But thanks for watching, and have a great day.